Good afternoon, I'm Raylene Ramsey. This is your afternoon news fix for Thursday, the 23rd of April. The Trade Minister agrees with Labour. Exporters should do due diligence before doing business through the India-New Zealand free trade deal. Labour's formally announced it'll back the FTA, while warning it thinks the $33 billion investment target is unrealistic and risky. Minister Todd McClay says the government's opened the door and exporters can assess if it'll work for them.
However, and as far as some of the things raised, I am more than confident that New Zealand will meet its obligation.
Winston Peters says New Zealand could borrow differently without explaining how. The NZ First Leader was reacting to rating agency Moody's downgrading New Zealand's economic outlook from stable to negative, but reaffirmed our AAA credit rating. Finance Minister Nicola Willis says this shows the government must stay on a track of less spending. Peters responded to the news.
Well, it's sad and it's disappointing. There's a way out of this, of course, and that is the capacity to borrow money at much cheaper rates. And this country hasn't demonstrated its capacity to do that, but I believe that can be done.
And asked how it could be done, Peters walked away saying, stand back and watch. The stalemate in the Strait of Hormuz is damaging the US and Iran. Iran has seized 2 ships in the strait and attacked a third. Donald Trump has extended the ceasefire with Iran while continuing to blockade their ports. International law professor Al Gillespie says the economic harm to Iran is clear, but its opponent is also hurting.
It's an equal problem for Trump because, as you said at the beginning, his predictions for congressional elections in November are terrible. The risk here is that he has to do something quickly to try to ease the pressure.
A Hawke's Bay farmer's treatment of animals has landed him a sentence of home detention, and he can't own sheep or cattle for a year. More than 200 sheep in David Fraser Beck's care had to be euthanised because of starvation, severe fly strike and parasite problems. Animal welfare inspections at the Waipiropiro Station farm found just 59 sheep met minimum welfare standards out of almost 150. MPI says Beck was an experienced farmer but didn't provide the basics, including sufficient food and water. The remains of 2 Kiwi soldiers killed in World War I have been identified and reburied in France. The incomplete remains of Lance Corporal Patrick Duffy and Rifleman George James Toombs had been taken from a military hospital in 1919 and used for medical studies. Since then, they were kept in the Philadelphia Museum. Our Defence Force reached out to their families. The remains are now interred in graves in Mont Huon Military Cemetery. To sport, New Hurricanes co-owner Malcolm Gillies has grave concerns for the future of Super Rugby, believing the competition isn't sustainable without privatisation. Auckland FC believe they're receiving the short end of the refereeing stick, but coach Steve Corica says they've given up complaining because A-League officialdom isn't listening. And rugby league legend Benji Marshall doesn't believe New Zealanders or Brits should be playing in the state of origin. That is your latest news fix. So we'll have another update for you tomorrow morning from the Newstalk ZB newsroom.